What's going on, guys? It's Super and welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. I have 5 more tips for beginners in Escape from Tarkov. Number 1. Servers. So many people don't know they can actually change or select which server or region they want to play in. And for most players, if they've never changed it, you will have it set to auto, which will just queue your raids into any server in the region where you live, like NA or EU. But you can actually go into Battlestate Games Launcher and then into Escape from Tarkov and click the Change Region button and look at the servers you are wanting to play on. Now keep in mind, not all the servers are good and stable connections. For me, I live in NA West, but it's relatively high ping for me, so the server's not that stable for me, so I don't play on it most of the time. Also keep in mind the number that is displayed for ping on the list is about 20 lower than it will actually experience in-game. So for example, if it says 70, you're probably getting around 90. This is also good for people who live close to the border of regions. Like if you're far NA East or far NA West, depending on the time of day, if servers are dead or if it's, morning in EU and you want to play at EU, you might get a good enough server to play there, so you want to queue into those servers. Number 2, healing after raid. Most new players will click the apply button when they go to heal after dying in a raid. But there's a more cost-effective way of doing this. Instead of clicking heal all, you should buy grizzly med bags. Because when you die, the cost to heal is about 30 to 35k. But a grizzly costs about 60k. And every time you use it, it takes about 300 or 400 of the 1800 durability, allowing you to get 5 or 6 uses of it, which is about 3 times the value, and it's going to save you a lot of rubles in the long run. Number 3, sprinting stamina. Lots of people will often sprint till their stamina bar is fully drained or till it's in the red. This is bad from a safety perspective because if you get caught out of position, you can't sprint and will likely result in you being sent back to the stash. So if you're running out, especially in a place where there's no good cover, you should always try to stop sprinting right before your stamina bar turns red. In the event that you do start taking fire, you will be able to sprint away with the little bit that you have left and not get caught out. This is also good because if you repeatedly drain your stamina all the way down, you will get a debuff, which is the fatigue debuff, which will reduce the amount of stamina you have in total until it goes away. This is really not something you want to do, especially if you're trying to make your way around the map. So it's best to keep your stamina bar, at least it's in the blue. Number 4, where to look. It's hard for newer players to even think about gunplay, but more specifically barrel placement, are known in most games as crosshair placement. Obviously, Tarkov doesn't have crosshairs. Tarkov inherently trains you, when learning the game, to look at the floor to find loot and discover what items are actually pick-upable. And that habit transfers to when you're walking around, which can ultimately hurt you in a gunfight. Because you're not having your gun up and ready for anything that can happen when you might see a PMC or a scav or a boss coming your way. And if they get the first shot while you're looking at the floor, or where you're slightly aimed down because that's your default you're used to looking at, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So the tip is, try to keep the barrel of your gun, wherever it's aiming, at the center of your screen. Because when you're ADSing, that's exactly where you're going to be looking at. Number 5, heal and reload. So in Tarkov, there's a mechanic where you can reload your gun and heal at the same time, which helps you be more efficient in high tense gunfights. Once you start healing your character, if you're in your inventory, you can right click on a mag and click install. And this will automatically load your gun with a fresh mag without having to do a reload animation. This mechanic isn't just limited to healing, you can also do this with any other thing that your character uses an item and has an animation for, like eating and drinking, doing surgery, or even using a stimulant. All you have to do is just right click on a mag and click install, and boom, you're doing 2 things at one time. Because a lot of the time in this game, the longer you take to do things like looting, healing, and so on, it's just less time you have to position yourself in certain areas or give you time to loot other things. So it's about being time efficient on everything that you do. So there's 5 more tips that I think beginners in Escape from Tarkov will find useful and will help you with your gameplay. If there are any other tips that you guys can think of, feel free to leave it in the comments for everybody else to see. And with that being said, thanks for watching.